Like many of you, I've been complaining that the fan service in Roze Recapture is excessive even for a Code Geass series, but is this just my anecdotal subjective opinion, or is there any validity to this claim? Well, in today's video, I will present a compilation of all fan service scenes from Roze Recapture. This is one part of a bigger project to determine if Code Geass has always been this horny, or is Roze Recapture a perversion on what came before. Pun intended. For now, let me explain how this will work, including what constitutes fan service. Well, I asked ChatGPT, and this is what it said. In the context of TV, film, and comics, fan service refers to the content deliberately included to please the audience, often appealing to their desires or fantasies. In the sexual variety, fan service typically involves, and it lists a bunch of things. So first it has sexualized depictions of characters. This includes scantily clad characters, exaggerated body proportions, or suggestive poses. These scenes or depictions are often unnecessary to the plot and are added primarily for visual appeal. Then it moves on to the next one, which is gratuitous nudity or sexual innuendos, moments of partial or full nudity, or sexually suggestive dialogue and situations, not essential to the story, but aimed at generating sexual excitement for the viewers. And finally it states suggestive or explicit scenes, scenes that focus on sexual tension, physical contact, or provocative interaction between characters to appeal to viewers' fantasies. For the most part, an accurate definition that I use to determine what is a fan service scene in Roze Recapture in combination to other considerations. Let's go over those right now. So as I said earlier in the video, I will be telling each moment where fan service is shown on screen. I'm going to count different perspectives shown within the same scene that has fan service. This rule also applies to characters. For example, Catherine's fan service in episode 9 starts when they show her on the couch, then we see a close-up of Sakura's bust, then later on she boob bounces with Catherine. In this case, I will increment the meter by 4 to account for all 4 moments. This rule also applies to showing different perspectives of a scene with breaks in between. For example, in episode 3, they switch between Ash and Sakya during their time off. Since they are switching between scenes, I will count each of those moments with Sakya separately. I will try to not get too excessive with counting every perspective of fan service shown within the same scene. Next, any nude scenes obviously will be included. Some stories don't use nudity for fan service, but that doesn't apply here. Another key consideration are the outfits that the characters wear. Many characters wear scantily clad clothing designed to reveal their exaggerated body proportions. The two biggest examples are Yoko and Catherine. Therefore, I will increment the meter for each scene they are on screen, with the only exceptions being if the scene zooms out on the character, which makes it hard to see them, or if the angles/close-ups don't emphasize the part of the outfit that's designed for fan service. I won't be applying the same standard to Sakura's outfit after she became Empress, because unlike Yoko and Catherine, there is a contextual reason for why she's wearing it. It has been established that members of the royal family wear outfits like that. Such was the case for Yuffie, Guinevere, and even Colin got the same treatment. I don't like those types of outfits, but can't ignore them. Now, Yoko's outfit doesn't make sense for a resistance military group, especially when no one else dresses like that, including the style itself. Even though Catherine's outfit resembles the traditional Britannian military uniform, it has openings on the sides, which lessens the support of the uniform. There's no logical contextual reason for the existence of either of these two outfits other than to give you a stiffy and to create certain fan service scenes like the boob bounce. Now with Sakura, I will count scenes if the angles and or close-ups are excessive. I will admit there's a lot of gray area here. This anime shows a lot of close-ups of many of the female characters, which I would consider fan service. For it to qualify here, the close-up and or perverted angle has to show off a specific body part, most likely one of the exaggerated proportions. One of the best examples of this is Sakya's butt shots and breast shots in episode 8. So anything like that will be counted as a fan service moment. Additionally, because this anime does have nightmare frame action, the series depicts certain angles of the pilots within their nightmare frames that qualify for fan service. Haruka is the most obvious example because she exists to be Colin 2.0. To be fair, not every angle of Haruka would qualify as fan service, just like Colin in the original anime. So I'm only going to count close-ups and angles meant to show off her butt, bust, and full body. Because her top doesn't show much cleavage and she isn't well endowed, we have to get angles and close-ups of other parts of her body for it to qualify as fan service. Now in the case of Catherine, where her outfit is always showing cleavage, anytime we see her in a nightmare frame is going to be counted here, especially when her boobs are bouncing about, which seems to always be the case. So that's my system for determining and tallying each fan service scene and or moment. Now here's what doesn't count as fan service: outfits that are somewhat tightly fitted but modest. Nara's is tight enough that you can see the shape of her bust within the outfit, but the outfit itself doesn't show off any cleavage. That's why I'm not going to count any scenes with Nara, as there's nothing inherently sexual with that outfit. It's just a standard military uniform, and I'm not going to punish Nara because she has a large bust. I will in the future rant on why her character pissed me off in other ways. Anyways, the same rule applies to Natalia or when Sakya becomes Raspberry. There will be one exception though, for Natalia. Now, sometimes characters wear outfits that are too tight, leaving little to the imagination. The Akito Nightmare Frame pilot suits, or even the R2 pilot suits come to mind, although even then it wasn't always that bad. But again, that doesn't apply to Nara. Now, my decision with Nara also applies to Sokia and Alderan. Now, Cornelia appears in the anime and wears a really nice outfit. Most of the time, it doesn't show off anything except for a couple scenes. But then there's the depiction of her in episode 12 that really blurs the lines here, because that outfit is also fitted and modest, but seems tighter when compared to her outfit in R1. Even the R2 outfit didn't have this problem, but obviously had plenty of others. I decided to count that depiction because it's the only time they show that angle of her, and I get the impression it only exists for fan service purposes. While we are discussing edge cases, I won't count Ayano's scene because there's nothing there, but I will count Colin's scene for the same reason as Cornelia. It might be a modest outfit, but the angle and close-up clearly was done for fan service reasons. With that out of the way, here's the compilation of all fan service scenes in Roze Other Capture. I will see you guys after it's done to go over the stats. Let's begin.
And the Niseko Panorama Line attack, isn't that right?
The nameless mercenaries, right?
Yeah, they just showed up out of nowhere about a year ago. That's so adorable! Now he is what I would call a stud. And that submissive thing he's got going really does it for me.
Delicious.
A message from Commander Norland.
Time for us to join the party. Let's get this done. We're gonna get wiped out. We need to fall back and regroup. That 11 is heir to the throne. So hands up.
You're not taking her.
That voice!
Let's get a hold of your
Good job! You were amazing, Haruka. Don't look so incredible.
I'm at Operation Rat Trap. Commence!
I'm free.
No comments? Indifferent as ever.
Rosie's strategy and Ash's combat skills helped us out as well.
197. All right.
Lady Natalia has arrived at the cafe. I'll get ready. I'm the White Queen of Einberg, Catherine Sabathra. You're weak, the worst. But Commander Norland is so strong, the best. Love him. You may find me to be a bit harsh every now and again. Try not to let it get to you.
Really? Sure, I know that this new model has way better specs compared to the Akatsuki's.
If she's even half 11, are we going to be all right?
Are we sure she hasn't sided with the Britannians? How dare you say that about her? Can we avoid fighting? Or are we gonna have to face off against Empress Sakuya?
All this said, it's reasonable to assume that Sakuya is being manipulated by Norland.
That's right! Couldn't have said it better myself!
I am so relieved to hear you say that.
What is that thing?
That's not a boat, it's a submarine!
I guess we should have known trying to unite the factions was a dumb idea.
Maybe it was.
What else is there? Are you saying we ought to take on the Damocles?
We have no choice. Facing off against the entire Neo-Britannian army.
He has a point.
How did we come by this intel?
Destroying the Sapporo ghetto is utterly pointless. You must stop it immediately.
The K-Sets is responding just the way I want.
Tony?
I'm blowing up the float unit. What?
Yeah, no kidding.
But it's not like we got out of there totally unscathed.
It's all thanks to the nameless mercenaries, right?
Call it one of the many perks of being a contract mercenary.
But you know, Dee was ambitious. Maybe it was his vanity that got him killed. And that concludes my personal report. See ya!
Before I forget, there's this kitty cat that's been coming by the cafe lately. But she was still raised well enough and is quite beautiful.
Sakuya Sumeragi. I believe even that is a lie. Isn't that right? Sakura Haruyanagi no Miya?
I'm next. Are you up for the challenge? I've got you now. It's over. I win!
Haruka's been hit. Battle over.
I'm loving the new you. The mods really smoothed out your edges. I can't wait to see you in action.
So, young lady, shall we begin?
Pardon the intrusion. I can't believe I've been personally summoned by Lord Norland. I'm absolutely over the moon.
It's been a while.
Enough for you.
Oh, wow.
According to General Bartley's documents, there seemed to be a wide variety of Gias abilities.
You really freed people from my Gias?
The technique's been established for a long time. Nothing to brag about, really.
What exactly do you intend to do with me?
Oh, no. Are all these wild swings supposed to be attacks?
Haruka won't last long.
You will help me obtain the power of Gias.
Why? What do you need Gias for?
I am the one asking the questions. Do with her as you wish.
Bring the prisoners in.
Looks like things got a little interesting. Well, in that case...
It's from an anonymous sender.
Sir Scissorman has a new prisoner.
Oda and Munamori squad, head to Point Alpha. And North Wolf Army, start moving to Point Bravo. Roger that!
This is so boring. I feel like I could take a nap right now.
It's Ash.
That young lady tricked you and was posing as your brother right by your side like she didn't have a care in the world.
I did have fun. But I kind of doubt we'll see each other again. I can't believe I let my guard down, boys.
You were freed from my Gias.
Yeah.
I deceived you. I pretended to be your brother to manipulate you. But I beg you, won't you please keep helping me until we save Sakura?
But by increasing allies, you can affect domestic policy.
I'm quite serious about the relief program.
That's what I can't forgive.
For a second, I was worried he might actually kill you. Experiments? If you don't mind, you refuse to participate. I'll just have to treat these subjects like the garbage.
Well, look, it's Sakuya Sumeragi. That's enough chatter. Let's get on with the show. Enough chatter.
Stop, please!
What do we do?
Either way,
pudding.
It looks like we just don't have enough information. Have you heard anything on your end, Roze?
Huh?
Could you go consult Lady Luxembourg, who's... give it a rest.
Very well, then. I see there's no use discussing this.
Is this what you would call strength? In my opinion, that's a very lonely strength. But I also understand weakness.
Hey, what are you doing? If we're weak, we die.
It's all right. We have a team heading out already.
Are they trying to send them to attack every corner of the globe?
Now running into you just makes this worse.
What if we worked together? I'm begging you.
What kind of power were you talking about? Tell me.
Prove to me that you're strong.
You're all lifesavers. If the team leader were to stop and go back now.
I won't sit back and let you murder people!
But right now we're words. We don't stand a chance.
You guys wouldn't happen to have a job opening here, would you?
Why don't we discuss it?
All right!
This signals the tentative end of the post-war settlement.
Okay, let's get to the numbers. There are 87 moments of fan service in Roze Recapture. Of all the female characters in this series, most of the fan service moments were of Yoko, Sakura, Catherine, Sakuya, and Haruka. Of the 5 characters, we have a tie for first place between Sakuya and Catherine with 21 moments, proving once again they only made her to give the male fans a female Lelouch to fap to. In second place comes Yoko with 18 moments, and we have a tie in third place between Sakura and Haruka, who both had 11 moments. The remaining 5 moments come from 5 different characters, including the Z Apollo, with 12 episodes and 87 moments. That roughly comes to an average of 7 moments per episode. It won't shock you to learn that episode 8 had the most moments at 20, episode 9 comes in second place with 12 moments, followed by episode 3 with 10. All 3 of these episodes had the most fan service scenes with Catherine and Sakuya, and since those 2 had the most period, revealing that these 3 had the most moments in the entire series shouldn't surprise anyone. Here's the rest of the distribution of fan service moments per each episode. Of all the new female characters that aren't underaged, only Sakai and Nara weren't used at all for fan service in the series, at least compared to everyone else. When it comes to the worst fan service scene per character, I think Haruka's first butt shot in episode 2 is hers, Sakuya's infamous butt shot in episode 8, or just her wearing the straitjacket at all in episode 8. Then we have Yoko showing off her bust in episode 4, and Catherine and Sakura's worst scene is when they did that boob bounce. In second place would be Sakura's nude scene and Catherine's movements in episode 3. The only fan service I liked was Colin's, Cornelia's, and the Z Apollos. If you don't edit down the clips like I did, then there's about 28 minutes of fan service scenes, which represents 10% of the entire series runtime. So, was the fan service in Roze Recapture as perverse as I thought? Yes. And now we can move on to Akito the Exiled.